It's March 12th. It's day 51 of the Trump presidency. And no, the clothes on the laundry chair did not get put away last night. And whoever asked, no, I have not unplugged the cat shaver and put that away either. I have a Snacks is right here. She's long haired, and sometimes she gets mats in her fur, so she has to get them shaved out by me, her mom. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? So we have a couple of funny stories tonight, and I'm excited about that. But we're gonna talk about those towards the end. But the Senate Democrats are saying that they're gonna reject the GOP spending bill. All right. Well, I'll believe it when I see it. Honestly, they haven't done really much so far. They had their little stunt where they were wearing pink shirts to the bipartisan congressional address that President Trump gave. I don't think your fucking pink shirts are going to do anything, Barbara. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they'll get a few points back if they actually stand up for themselves and for us. Really for us. They'll be fine. We're the ones that are fucked. So that's coming up. Something to get excited about, everybody. Again, I keep my expectations as low as humanly possible, which means I expect them to pass it. It just seems to be the way things are going for the most part. So a bunch of Trump's tariffs went into effect today, and the EU and Canada are retaliating back. No surprises here. We already sort of knew it was coming, but Canada announced 25% reciprocal tariffs on steel and iron. And the EU, they're raising their current tariffs. So they already had some tariffs on these items, but they're raising them, and it doesn't, for some reason, the article didn't fucking say how much. That's weird. But anyway, they're raising tariffs on beef, bourbon, motorcycles, jeans, and peanut butter. I thought America had their own jeans. Aren't jeans American? Anyways, less jeans for you, which is fine. I don't personally leave my house very often, so I have too many pairs of jeans that I literally barely wear. I mostly wear sweatpants on the bottom. That's the new business casual, normal up top. I'm already in bed on the bottom, and it's going to stay that way. For people who work from home, obviously. And actually, you know what? No. I'll be honest. When I leave my house and I go to the grocery store, I mostly look like I just woke up. And I'm not planning to make any life changes at this point. This is not funny. This is fucked up. And it pisses me off. But the Palestinian man that they detained, Mahmoud Khalil, is going to remain in ICE detention after the court hearing. I guess until he's sentenced or, obviously, here we go again with the cat hair. I'm so sorry. It's so unprofessional of me, but thank God this is my fucking YouTube channel and it's not professional. So they are hell-bent on making an example of this person, and they keep saying there's going to be more where that came from. Well, we'll see, Again, there is a small chance that our court system will uphold our human rights. Maybe. I mean, fingers crossed. This is one of the more illegal things they've done so far, because this man he has a green card and he is a U.S. citizen. So I don't know. You tell me what's going to happen. Time will tell. It's just a horrible situation. And again, I think he has a pregnant fiance. I can't imagine what she's going through. Hell, absolute hell. And a horrible, horrible thing to do to someone. It's crazy, all of us grew up thinking we had rights in this country. And we really, again, we're learning the hard way that is not a guarantee. It never was. But we felt like it was. And I think now we're realizing, no. If you want rights, bitch, you gotta work. Gotta bring it back to Britney's work era. You gotta work for it. If you want to keep these rights, we need everyone voting. especially everyone who is literate. Sorry, that's a bad joke. It's actually not funny at all. Actually, most U.S. adults are reading between a 6th grade and 8th grade level. That is not good. This is probably not the correct time to dismantle the Department of Education and tell everyone to homeschool their children, but, you know, what do I know? So Trump is obviously, in case you haven't noticed, using the United States government as his own personal political battering ram. So he's just like taking out his grievances. He's enacting revenge against his enemies. He has gone after a law firm that represented Hillary Clinton in the 2016 campaign. And they've also like done some other things that his administration doesn't like. So he literally went after the law firm and he's calling them dangerous and dishonest. And anyways, a federal judge temporarily blocked. He wrote some like executive order about this law firm and the judge blocked it temporarily. Again, like he's going to get away with some of this stuff. He already has. And again, some of the things they're doing, they're also like burning the evidence, right? So that like there's no pathway back to whatever the entity was before, the organization that they're dismantling and destroying. I can't imagine how it feels right now to be really high up on his list of enemies. It's probably got to be kind of scary. But, you know, there's a lot of people who have dealt with this from him for years already, and maybe they're used to it. So they're planning to, as we know, undo a lot of climate change protections. And right now they have a list of over 2 dozen air and water regulations that they're planning to remove and undo. So that seems insane, because it is insane. And again, we've had to fight really hard to protect our air and our water and the earth from these fucking psychotic capitalist monsters who only care about their profit margins. They do not care about anything else. And they're psychopaths, literally. They don't care about human suffering at all whatsoever. People like that, you know, what is it? Not the dichotomy, that there is like a principle. Is it the dichotomy of tolerance? Something of tolerance, the paradigm of tolerance. Basically, what it says is that if you are tolerant of intolerance, it will destroy you. And this is where we get caught up, because they turn around and they say that we should be treating corporations with rights like people. The fuck no, we shouldn't. Nor should we be treating psychopaths well. Like, they need strong boundaries. And honestly, there probably should be a psychological exam for many of the leadership positions in this country, especially President of the United States. We cannot have a narcissist in that position. And I don't give a fuck if someone says that's discrimination. I don't care. And I also think that there needs to be age restrictions, 100%. There are just some things like, if we're not having age restrictions for the presidency, then let's let a motherfucking 3-year-old drive my car right now. There is no difference. There is a point in your life at which your ability to respond quickly deteriorates. I can already feel it. Raise your hand if you do too. Anyways, sorry for yelling at you. It's not you. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry, honey. So the education department is, you know, obviously like they're firing everyone, but they're gutting their civil rights department. So there were discrimination cases that were in the middle of being heard, I would assume, and others that are like waiting the docket. And, you know, let's just assume that nothing will ever come of any of those cases. If your case isn't already all the way through, I think realistically, it's done. And that's horrible. People that are awaiting justice in unjust situations now just have to live with it. And yes, we have a lot of people that have come before us that have lived through horrible things. But again, we've been told this story since we were born that things were moving in the correct direction, that we were becoming even more diverse, even more tolerant of diversity, that we were becoming just that equality was increasing, that our quality of life would get better. We were told that, I remember before my mom passed away, she really believed that I would live to be 125. First of all, no, thank you. Second of all, we don't have, our life expectancy has either teetered around the same point or at times gone down because of quality of life, stress, COVID, you name it. So we have not, we've really plateaued in so many ways, and now we are moving backwards, and we'll see what happens next. But it's sad. It's sad for those people, and it's awful. I would just, again, keep your expectations at 0. Actually, below would be better. Keeping your expect bad things to happen, and then if they don't, that's pretty sweet. Then we're having like almost a good day. Not quite, but close. Oh, I hate this fucking headline. I was like tearing up. I won't though. I won't cry. I cried a lot today. The USDA has ended $1 billion in food aid. Essentially, they have this program with our local farms to provide food. I'm assuming it's like overspill food from these local farms directly to schools and food banks. And they just literally cut off $1 billion in food aid that was going to feed children and people who have no food. That just makes me so sick. I was reading the part in that book I'm reading, the best or the hardest worst time. I can't even remember the fucking title of it now. That's like the downside of reading in a Kindle is like I never really look at the front of the book anymore because I'm just like looking at a screen. But anyways, it's that book I told you guys I was reading about the Dust Bowl and the Depression, and I'm almost positive it's called The Hardest Worst Time. It's very good. But it's at the scene now where everyone is like rushing food banks and stuff. There's no food. I can't remember it's over a third of Americans during the Depression were unemployed, didn't have any way to feed their families, and jobs were being offered that like didn't even pay you money. They paid you in like vouchers that they would someday pay you. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nuts. So again, people have lived through all kinds of shit, horrible things. But yeah. We don't have the skills that those people had. That's the really bad part of it is like, we don't know how to grow food. Better fucking figure it out. I'm trying and I'm freaking out about it, man. So SpaceX was supposed to go pick up those poor fucking astronauts that are stranded in space. They were supposed to leave today. They had a replacement crew of 4 people. And just as they were like getting ready to launch, the people were literally already strapped in. There's something wrong with the launch pad. So they don't have a new date. The flight got canceled, but they're pretty sure it's still going to be this week. I don't know how long it takes to fix something like that. Like they're floating around the idea of Thursday. Anyways, can you imagine being the people out in space and hearing that yet again there's another delay? I would just be, what are you going to do? There's literally nothing you can do. Do they have internet? Yeah, I guess they would have to. I know they have like some type of communication system, so it's got to be through the internet. Imagine being stuck in space with no internet. Hell to the fuck no. I don't even know what they're doing up there in the first place. And also, like, what if you didn't really like the person that you were in space with? That is like my worst nightmare. Or what if you thought you liked them and then you got really sick of them? Anyways, Republicans in Congress are pushing that stupid fucking SAVE Act, which is a bill that requires people to show proof of citizenship. It's really like a voter suppression bill. Like, let's call a spade a spade. So it would require people to show either their birth certificate, their passport, or their naturalization certificate, which obviously, like, I have no idea where my birth certificate, like, maybe I know where my birth certificate is. I probably should order a new one just in case, honestly. I better get on that shit. And so should you. However, if you're a married woman, and I think we've talked about this on the show before, you cannot just provide a birth certificate because you have changed your last name. If you have changed your last name for any reason, you need to provide the additional documentation that shows the process of you changing your name. A marriage certificate, and in most cases, also the name change documentation. So, and I, knowing Republicans and probably a lot of people at these fucking voting stations, like, I don't even know if that's enough. So they're really like trying to discourage women from voting as if they haven't already said that. There's like all those creeps that are like their homeboys that are saying things on video like they don't want to hear from women anymore. They don't want to see women in positions of authority. I really would pay so much money to know what women like Amy Coney Barrett and Marjorie Taylor Greene are actually thinking behind closed doors right now. Like, I don't give a fuck what they're saying in public. I mean, I saw videos of Amy Coney Barrett staring at Trump like she wanted to punch his entire face in. Yeah, girl, we tried to tell you. And you're over here giving this bitch a leg up. You're helping him. I just want to know that they see it now, and maybe they don't. I mean, that's kind of, I need to finish watching Handmaid's Tale, but that's kind of what was happening towards the end of Handmaid's Tale. It's like some of the characters realized that they had like caged themselves into the jail as well. Especially the female characters realized like, oh, hey, like this guy's going to break all my fingers too, actually. And then he does. It's not funny. It's really disturbing. Okay, so this is actually really cool. I didn't tell you guys about this because I was waiting until I had the details, but I got the opportunity to be on a Zoom call with Rep. Ro Khanna. You should go look him up. His last name is spelled Khanna. He reminds me of like Bernie and AOC. He is definitely fighting the good fight, and like he is absolutely fighting for us. He is trying to get this bill passed, and he kept referring to it in the Zoom call as the Drain the Swamp bill, which is like kind of supposed to be like a tip of the hat to Trump's Drain the Swamp thing, except this would really actually like do it. And we're trying, do we think that it's actually going to pass? Unlikely. I think he needs 132 yes votes to get it even basically like on the floor, really. So we're working on it, but I think it would also like looking at who votes no against this is a very telling piece of information. So this is what would be in it. No super PAC or lobbyist money for Congress. So right away, that's huge. That's taking a lot of the corruption right out of their hands. And hopefully, along with these other items, is discouraging people who are there for the wrong reasons from being there at all. Once people leave Congress, this is item number 2. Once people leave Congress, they cannot become lobbyists themselves. Again, this is about limiting the financial gain that someone gets from being in our government. We want people there who are doing this work for the love of the work. We don't want like super mega church pastors who are trying to scam people for millions of dollars. We want people in small churches who are there because they love it. And that is an analogy that I'm using for what is happening in our government. Like these people are fucking mega church pastors who are scamming people. They're bad people. 3, no stock trading. Huge. So many of those people are literally there to insider trade. They don't give a shit about human beings. They want to make money. Get rid of them. And last but not least, term limits for Congress, Senate, and the Supreme Court. I think he's proposing 12 years. I think that's fucking fantastic. It would solve so many of the problems that we're currently facing in our government. Do I think a lot of people are going to vote against it? Yep. And again, those people should all be primaried because we know for a fact that they're not here for the right reasons. I will keep you guys updated, but like, please call your representatives and tell them to vote yes. If you get the chance, I would appreciate it. Uh, okay, here's your two pieces of like funny, gossipy shit to end this show with. There was a poll on X that named Elon Musk the worst thing to come out of South Africa. I absolutely love that. I think it's hilarious that these bros are getting trolled so hard. Actually, now I have a third item to add to that because it reminded me. If you haven't seen the memes about JD Vance, literally just go type that into Google, into TikTok if you're on there, into Instagram if you're on there, probably on Facebook too. It's just these ridiculous pictures that make his face look like very Cabbage Patch, just like really weird, a bunch of really weird stuff. We're just like basically a bunch of people distorted his face, did a bunch of weird things to his hair, made some that are bald, they're scary, they're weird. Anyways, Fox News literally aired a segment of these memes and talked about it and like showed all the memes, which is honestly like really embarrassing. And JD Vance keeps trying to like be like ha 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 and like play along, and it's so awkward and it's not working. But please go look it up because you'll crack up if you haven't seen them already. The last thing I want to tell you guys, and also please go look up this video. People, I posted it in my Instagram stories and people kept messaging me and being like, is this fucking real? Like, is this AI? And I'm like, no. Like, anyways, Trump, you know, obviously freaked out about the Tesla boycott yesterday and decided to basically like film essentially a used car commercial on the White House lawn. And it is so weird, you guys. It's like a sketch comedy show, but like one of the very most awkward sketch comedy shows I've ever seen in my life. First of all, he calls it a Tesler. And again, he has dementia. I'm sorry. Like, you cannot convince me he does not have dementia. Although I probably do too, because sometimes I say weird stuff that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, he stands there and calls it a Tesler and says like something, he's rambling about how he's not allowed to drive, but he's buying this red Tesla anyways. And then he's like asking Elon a question and Elon's just like stammering and can't answer. And he has his human shield with him, dressed all weird. It's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in your whole fucking life. And Elon also looks like not okay. Like, he's not like smiling or happy or anything. He's like really weird. Really, he looks a little dismayed. I don't know. You can't make it up. It's crazy. I really feel like SNL is completely gonna. We're like putting SNL out of business with reality, and same with The Onion. They can't keep up. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you go look those things up. Okay. So what are we looking up? We're looking up memes of JD Vance, recent memes of JD Vance. And we are also looking up the video. You could probably type in Trump Tesla car commercial and it'll come up. And also there's a bunch of like spoofs on it that are really funny, that are like, you know, mixing it up with other stuff. Sorry, man. I'm tired and I have a really big day tomorrow. I actually have a second interview for a promotion at work. And I'm excited about it. I love my company very much. Anyways, love you guys too. See you tomorrow.